Okay, good evening. It is June 4th, 2023, and this is Debbie Davis. And so I wanted to touch on some things that just happened to me on Friday. Some people are aware of some incidences that I've had with the police in the past. I've had multiple bad experiences with the police. Okay, this is just the truth of my story of what's happened to me. So, for those who aren't aware, I'll just start with, I since I became a whistleblower in 2011 at that military base in Phoenix, Arizona, where I was working at the time. I had worked there for 6 years. I'm from Minnesota. I had been in the National Guard here for 8 years, and then I moved out to Arizona with a relationship and was working there. And that's when I was working at that base. And then I uncovered this huge embezzlement scandal. These colonels were embezzling money, basically. And then instead of being rewarded for helping uncover this huge crime, I got illegally pushed out of the military. In Phoenix, the generals and the colonel, and so that I have a pending lawsuit that's gone on for years that I haven't been able to proceed because the federal judges there are so corrupt and in Arizona. So, but then to add insult to injury, then when I came back to Minnesota, after leaving the state, I started getting pulled over by the police all the time, and this has gone on for since 2012. I've been pulled over 53 times, not just in Minnesota, but like all the different states that I've been to, because I was moving around different places for the last several years, so I've had I don't know of anybody that's been pulled over more times than I have. So I'm on this. I've been put on, because of the whistleblower, I've been put on something called a targeted individual program. And this is a real program. And the money, I exposed this in one of the videos a few videos back too, that we found out that from this DOD whistleblower, or this DOD contractor actually told me that the money actually comes down and is given to the police. They get money for helping stalk us, basically target us, and the money comes from Homeland Security. So Homeland Security is a very corrupt agency, and then they're part of, I don't even know what they do. They're not protecting our border right now. I don't even know what Homeland Security is doing. So So there's a little history there of, and I'll include those videos if you haven't seen those. But then when I was exposing that video, after I had found that information out from that guy, like the next day there was this mysterious fire in the old Homeland Security building in Washington, D.C. So, it tells me that we were right over the target, because they were probably trying to cover something up. And so, I've exposed a lot of things on my videos, and that's one of the reasons why they're targeting me so much, is because I am exposing so much, and I'm one of the few whistleblowers that are still, that are still speaking and, able to, I'm still alive. This is just this level of intensity that they go after the whistleblowers. There are a few FBI whistleblowers that are starting to kind of tell their stories of, how they wanted to say something about how corrupt the FBI was, but everybody is so scared to be a whistleblower. I've been through living hell. My life has never been the same since 2011. I haven't been able to have any kind of a life. They come after every single aspect of your life. They have everybody. You get targeted at different jobs. You get targeted by the police. You get targeted everywhere you go, and they'll find anything on you. If you have anything in your past, your history, they'll just they'll go after everything. This is why nobody wants to be a whistleblower. And it's not like I was purposely trying to be a whistleblower. Nobody does. It's just you end up seeing these things that you don't agree with, or in my case, it was like we just didn't want to be held accountable for anything that was going on there, missing money, things like that. It's not like anybody tries to. It's just you feel like you have a moral obligation to say something, and so it's just a horrible thing what they do to whistleblowers, and it has to stop. But on Friday, I was just going to work where I've been working here in Minneapolis, and at 6 a.m. and this police just come behind me out of nowhere and pull me over right at and literally follow me right into the workplace parking lot, and this is at 6 a.m. and I guess I had a tail light out or a brake light out, and so, but you have to follow me into a private private lot. I looked up the laws, and they can't. It's not like I didn't commit a crime. It would have been different if I was, I had went through a red light or something, or if I was driving erratically. But I didn't. That's not a driving with a taillight that you don't even know is something is wrong. That's not a crime, and that's not something you follow somebody into work and make them late for work for. And so right on private property, and that's just pure harassment. I was 15 minutes late for work, and so now I believe that the Plymouth police, they need to be in serious trouble. I've seen them. This is in Plymouth, Minnesota, that this happened, and I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "You're making me late for work because I have a, this is totally uncalled for." And really, you can't wait till I get off work? This is just insane. And so, and I said, and I've seen them like every other day. I see them as I'm coming to work, and they sit at this fire station, and I've said, I've seen you sitting there before, and they're like, "Oh, we're just, they try to say stuff like we're just patrolling, but in my case, when I've been pulled over 53 times, that's not patrolling. I'm being stalked, okay? And then it's not only when I'm going to work, it's when I come home, they're there too. Look, like right here, like then I come home and I'm walking my dog, and then there's a cop sitting around the corner, sitting around the street right around the corner, watching me. So is this patrolling, or is this stalking? This is police stalking at this point, and it has been for years for me, okay? So this is different, this is not, police doing their job. This is a stalking. And then here's the sheriff, stalking me right by my house. Hennepin County Sheriff, there's I don't know if you can see, I'm just walking. I'm just walking, taking pictures, my dog, and so I looked up, what is the crime of stalking? What is that exactly? And that it's a form of emotional abuse. Stalking, and somebody that's stalking you, and to me it's happened over 10 years. That's a form of emotional abuse, is what they're doing to me. And I'm very upset with the police. I've always said that in all of my videos that this is not any kind of I hate cops speech or me, trying to. I never had any kind of incidences with cops before being a whistleblower. It's just ever since the whistleblower thing. Okay, and so, certain cops seem to be a part of the deep state, and they're working for the bad side, and I'm not okay with it. I don't know, why do we pay you if you're not doing, anything good in the community? You shouldn't, if you're not actually protecting and serving, and you're part of just harassing, I don't understand why you even be there. That's what I have a problem with. And, but my understanding what I have been told is that under like Obama, Biden administration, and then George Soros, they kind of tied their hands as to what they were, even if you, the good cops, they had their hands tied as to what they could even do. If they, even when they did try to do the right thing, they weren't even allowed to do certain things. So it's such a terrible situation that has gone on with the police, the law enforcement. So, but in my case, the police that are involved in this targeted individual program are, certain types of police that have, that have agreed to be a part of this program, and it's illegal. It's called stalking, and they're stalking me, and and there's tons of other people that are on this targeted individual program. Either whether you're a whistleblower, or they're targeting certain bloodlines, they're targeting, if you become too much of a problem, if you're filing too many lawsuits in court and winning, you'll get on this list. If they find that you're too much of a threat in court and, winning lawsuits and stuff like that, they'll put you on this list. This is a real program. And then, so anyway, then, so another incident that I want to bring up about the police is that just recently, and I will link the video, a Capitol Police officer whistleblower has come forward. He was on the Tucker Carlson program, I believe, and he's basically saying that he basically is telling the story, because he was there at the Capitol January 6th, 2020, when, President Trump said, let's walk peacefully over to the Capitol. And then, basically he was there, and, the Capitol Police let all these people in. They just openly let all the people into the Capitol. There was some rioting like around the Capitol, but my understanding was that those were Antifa people, not the Trump people. They were just they were peacefully. They peacefully went into the Capitol, and they weren't doing anything. They were just, and the Capitol Police just openly let them in. And then so he's on the phone, he said, inside the Capitol, and he's calling his superiors, saying, hey, what are we supposed to do with all these people in here? What is our direction now? Why did we let all these people in here? And then there was just silence, is what he said. There was just silence as to what they were supposed to do with all these people. And then later, as you know, many of these people were apprehended by the FBI, these Trump supporters, and have been in prison now for years. And all they did was peacefully walk over there to the Capitol, and the Capitol Police let them in. And they've been in jail in D.C. for years for being a part of some kind of, they think that they weren't even a part of any kind of violence at all. It was like the Antifa people. This is just so sad what happened here. And then I wanted to mention another thing that has come forward, another whistleblower, because there was, because I had mentioned some things that were going on at Fort Hood, because I've mentioned things at my base. What happened, the base that the embezzlement scandal happened was at the Arizona National Guard in Phoenix, Arizona, Papago military base in Phoenix. And I saw this Netflix video regarding this Vanessa Gillian story about how she was murdered at Fort Hood, and then 39 other soldiers have been murdered there. And I started doing some research and trying to figure out what might be going on there at this base, and then I made some phone calls to the military police. And once again, the police, they were just, the military police were just like, they're trying to just They wouldn't give me any information. I don't know if you remember that video, but I did a video. You could just look up the video that I did there. And, I said, can you tell us any information? Do you have any kind of ongoing investigation going on into all of these deaths? 39 soldiers? And they didn't want to talk to me at all. They said, we don't have to give you any information. And I said, this is public information. This is our tax dollars that pay you. And we have every right to know what's going on here. And they were super shady with me. So I don't know if you heard that phone call, but once again, the police, real shady. So anyway, this really brave woman that has come forward, there's a video that I will link. She's a young, she was super young, but she's still pretty young. But she said that as, I guess as a child, and, for a long time, she was forced to be part of like child porn and satanic rituals and child sex trafficking and things like that. And she said a lot of these things are happening right through military bases. So she survived these type of things. She was forced to be a part of this by her, I guess she was probably born into an Illuminati family or something, and she's exposing it. And she said one of the military bases that this type of thing is happening, like underground, is Fort Hood. Okay, so that's one of the things that's happening. Child sex trafficking, satanic rituals. Okay, and so that, and I believe, and not only are the people's missing, but like their whole bodies and everything are missing, so they're probably trafficking the body parts. This is a very scary base, military base. I think the whole thing needs to be shut down. I wouldn't let my son or daughter work at Fort Hood with all this crazy stuff coming out and all these murders. This is insane. So anyway, I will link that video. She exposes, there's another place that in Canada that she talks about as another place that she went, where there was a section right off some kind of military base where it was a whole child porn, sex trafficking, satanic ritual thing right off the side of a military base in Canada or something too. So some of these kids are coming forward now that were forced to be part of these type of things that have survived. So she's one of them. Okay, so I will include some of these videos in this under this video in the comments. Okay, thank you.